Most people visit Tokyo, Kyoto, and Osaka, but Japan has mountain villages buried in snow, pilgrimage trails hidden in forests, islands built around modern art, and coastal towns where nothing feels rushed. And most travelers never see this side. No fluff, no metaphor, immediate contrast. What most travelers think Japan is. When you picture Japan, you probably see neon lights, fast trains, sushi counters, and packed shrines. And that version exists. It's exciting, efficient, intense. Cut to countryside. But step outside the main cities, and the pace shifts completely. Fewer crowds, older traditions, wider landscapes. This is where Japan starts to feel different. The typical tourist route follows a predictable pattern. Arrive in Tokyo, spend 3 days navigating subway maps and fighting jet lag in Shinjuku. Take the bullet train to Kyoto for temple hopping, maybe add Osaka for the food scene, then fly home. It's a solid introduction. Millions do it every year, but it's also just the surface, a carefully curated introduction that barely scratches what Japan actually contains. The real texture of the country exists in the spaces between these marquee destinations, in the places where tour buses don't stop and English menus disappear. Shirakawa-go and rural Gifu. In central Japan, villages like Shirakawa-go sit between steep mountain ranges. The houses here were designed for heavy snowfall, with sharp thatched roofs and thick wooden beams. Families still live here. Smoke rises from chimneys in winter. Lights glow through paper windows at night. It's not staged. It's lived in. This is Japan without skyscrapers. Beyond Shirakawa-go, the Gifu region unfolds into valleys where entire towns specialize in single crafts. Pottery villages where every family operates a kiln, paper-making communities that have refined their techniques across centuries, metalworking towns where blades are still forged by hand. These aren't tourist attractions performing tradition for cameras. They're working communities where craft remains central to identity and livelihood. Kumano Kodo Pilgrimage Trail. On the Kumano Kodo Trail, travelers walk routes that have existed for over 1,000 years. There are no neon signs here, just forest, stone steps, and wooden shrines hidden between trees. This is where Japan feels grounded, slower, focused. The trails connect 3 grand shrines, Homun, Naki, and Hayatama, each one a complex of vermilion buildings set against dramatic natural backdrops. At Naki, a waterfall drops 133 meters beside the shrine, its roar audible from the prayer halls. At Homun, massive torii gates mark the entry to sacred ground where photography feels intrusive, where you instinctively lower your voice. Naoshima, Japan's art island. Naoshima is an island where contemporary art replaces nightlife. Museums are built into hillsides. Sculptures face the sea. Instead of crowds and shopping streets, you get open space and silence. For travelers who want culture without chaos, this side of Japan feels intentional. Naoshima sits in the Seto Inland Sea, a former industrial site transformed into one of the world's most ambitious art projects. The Benest Art Site initiative turned the island into an open-air museum where world-class installations integrate with landscape and architecture. Tado Ando designed museums that burrow into hillsides, their concrete forms stark against green slopes. James Turrell created spaces where light becomes the medium, where perception shifts depending on time of day and weather. The islands move at bicycle pace, no cars rushing past, no crowds flowing between attractions. Just slow movement, plenty of sky, and art that demands attention rather than competing for it. Most visitors leave Japan thinking they've seen it, but the deeper you go, the more layers appear. If you enjoy discovering places beyond the obvious, this channel is built for that. Transition immediately into next section. No begging, no interruption. Identity reinforcement only. Regional food culture. Japan's food changes from region to region. Coastal towns focus on fresh seafood. Mountain areas serve seasonal vegetables and simple broths. In smaller cities, meals feel more personal. You're not moving through a production line. You're sitting in someone's neighborhood spot. Slow travel makes sense here. Japan's regional food culture runs deep. Not just different dishes, but entirely different philosophies shaped by geography, climate, and local history. In Hokkaido's ports, seafood gets pulled from freezing waters and served within hours, the fat content and texture determined by ocean temperature. In Kyushu's volcanic regions, hot springs provide natural cooking vessels for eggs and vegetables, the mineral content of each spring affecting flavor profiles. Markets tell you what grows locally and what matters economically. Mountain markets stock preserved goods, pickles, mountain vegetables harvested from forests. Coastal markets overflow with fish most tourists have never heard of, each one requiring specific preparation methods locals learn as children. Farm stands sell produce with soil still clinging to roots, prices handwritten on cardboard, payment boxes operating on trust. Coastal and rural Japan. Along Japan's coast, small towns sit between mountains and sea. Life starts early. Markets open before sunrise. By evening, streets quiet down. This isn't the Japan of flashing lights. It's steady and practical. And for many travelers, it's more memorable. Coastal Japan operates on maritime rhythms. Fishing boats leave before dawn, return mid-morning with the day's catch. Auction houses fill with buyers examining fish by flashlight, judging quality through techniques that look like intuition but represent decades of training. By noon, the best fish have already moved through restaurants and specialty shops. What remains gets sold at discount or processed for preservation. These communities don't cater to foreign visitors because they don't need to. Life functions according to internal logic developed over generations. Shops close midday during slow periods. Restaurants might run out of signature dishes by 2 p.m. Everything operates on trust. Unmanned vegetable stands with price lists and collection boxes, bicycles left unlocked, front doors that never fully close. Landscapes most tourists miss. Beyond the major cities, Japan opens up into mountains, rice fields, and remote valleys. In autumn, forests turn deep red. In winter, villages disappear under snow. These landscapes don't feel crowded. They feel expansive. Japan is 73% mountains. The famous Golden Route, Tokyo, Kyoto, Osaka, occupies a narrow coastal corridor, leaving vast mountain regions largely unexplored by foreign tourists. The Japan Alps rise over 3,000 meters, with peaks that require technical climbing and valleys accessible only by infrequent buses or hiking trails. Winter landscapes offer a different kind of beauty, sharp, monochromatic, brutally cold. Villages in Tohoku and Hokkaido disappear under snow depths that require elevated entrances and second-story walkways. Trees become abstract forms, their branches buried under snow that doesn't melt for months. The silence becomes physical, snow-absorbing sound until the loudest noise is your own breathing. Why more travelers are looking beyond Tokyo. More travelers are staying longer in Japan. Some are working remotely. Others are choosing smaller towns to avoid peak crowds. Regional trains connect places that feel completely different from the capital. And once you step outside the main routes, Japan becomes more personal. Regional revitalization programs actively court foreign residents, offering subsidies, language support, and community integration assistance. Towns facing population decline see tourism and remote work as survival strategies, creating infrastructure and welcome systems that make extended stays not just possible but comfortable. Who this side of Japan is for? This side of Japan is for travelers who prefer depth over speed, for people who enjoy local customs, quiet mornings, and learning how daily life works. If you want predictable sightseeing, stay in the cities. If you want perspective, explore further. For photographers, this Japan offers endless material, not the perfect compositions everyone's already captured, but the small moments that reveal character. Morning fog in rice fields, festival preparations in empty streets, the way light falls through traditional architecture. These images don't perform well on social media because they require context and patience to appreciate, but they're the images that matter later, that bring back memories more effectively than 1,000 shots of Fushimi Inari Gates. Japan isn't just neon and bullet trains. It's mountain villages, forest paths, art islands, and coastal towns. And once you see beyond the obvious stops, you realize how much more there is. Subscribe for more journeys beyond the tourist version. What part of Japan would you explore first?